Episode 9.
Episode 9, Extracredit podcast. Very exciting episode today. Probably my favorite thus far.
Really?
I think so.
Well, we're in California and this is your favorite?
Yeah, because we're going to piss people off with this one.
You like pissing people off?
I like talking about things that
Jason hates people.
Have very differing opinions, right? And I think people are going to feel very similar with you on your opinions, and they're going to be very against you. So we need to prepare for some internet hate with this one.
Oh, I love internet hate.
So basically, this one's going to be about your school before homeschool. For those that don't know you, which is basically everyone, because we've never talked about this, you went to a different school before being homeschooled.
A way better school than what we're doing now.
Oh, yeah, for sure. As we're going to find out. And you went to that school longer than you were actually homeschooled. So technically, that was your longest school.
I think I went there like 10 years or something.
Yeah, kindergarten through 7th grade, right?
I mean, like pre-K.
Oh, they had a pre-K too? All right, so basically, yeah.
Wait, what did they call it? Oh, they called it Peach Blossom.
That's so fitting. That's a stupid name. So yeah, you went to a school before being homeschooled. And what was that kind of school?
It was a Waldorf school.
A Waldorf school. And what is a Waldorf school? For those that don't know. How did they define it and how do you define it?
I don't know, it's like Rudolf Steiner's thing.
Yeah, that's the guy who created it.
Yeah.
But what is it though? Like, what's their mission?
I don't really know because they never really told us. I think it's.
Do you just not remember maybe?
I've kind of blocked that whole thing out. It's more like passion stuff, if I remember right.
I don't know. To be honest with you, I have no idea either. Should we hit a quick Google?
No. Yeah, I think it's like. I mean, I could be completely wrong on this.
In your experience, what is a Waldorf school? Forget about the definition then.
I think it's more like, as much as it sucks, it's more of like an actual like life skill school, not just like straight.
So it's meant to teach you life skills.
Yeah, I think that's more what they're intending
skills
for.
That you can use once you leave the classroom. So it's not, they don't just focus on like math, science, that kind of stuff. Yeah. Okay. So to sum it up simply, a Waldorf school is a life school.
I think so, yeah.
I think that's a good definition. Okay. What Waldorf school did you go to?
Hawthorne Valley.
Hawthorne Valley.
In Ghent, New York.
Oh boy. You're really specific.
Go there and tell them how much they suck.
All right. So I think that's made pretty clear right now that you did not enjoy your experience.
Oh, it was amazing.
Okay.
Best experience in my life.
Before we get into that, can you break down, because I think it was pretty unique, your school, especially compared to me. I'm a New York City public school kid. So
I mean, everything's crazy compared to that.
I mean, we have very different middle school, elementary school experiences. So why don't you tell me what a day in the life was like? Like, when did you start? What kind of classes? What did it look like on average?
I'm thinking back to it. It's crazy.
I know. That's why.
I guess like it started. It was like 8:15 or something like that. Okay. We'd all like sing or something like that.
Hold on. So
it's very based on like music and like
movement.
Yeah. Yeah, they do eurythmy. It's like a kind of like an expressive thing. Okay. I feel like that's how they are. You know what I mean? Yeah. They do a lot of singing and that kind of stuff.
So so you get there at 8:15. Where do you go? Like to your first class? Do you have like a homeroom? What do they call it?
It's your classroom.
What do you mean?
Each grade has their own classroom, and the teacher goes to the classroom. You don't have like an English classroom or like.
Oh, that's right. You told me
that. That concept is like crazy to me that you would go to a different classroom.
Is this for every grade?
Yeah.
So like.
Well, like high school has like they like have some different.
So it's they bounce around classes. Yeah. But your middle school.
Middle school, so like, first and second grade had their own building. Mm-hmm. And then middle school, it was 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th, and 8th was in the building with high school too. But it was just, so they have their own classroom. Yeah.
And then the English teacher would come in, the math teacher would come in, and the kids would just
Spanish teacher would come, the German teacher would come, or whatever.
So you never really left the room for your classes?
This was like game class, which is like pretty cool there actually, because you get to go outside like
and do stuff.
Because they're on like 400 acres or something.
Yeah, we'll get into that. So 8:15, you go to your class, and it starts with singing.
Like, no, you do some morning thing or something. I don't know.
What are we talking about? Like what kind of singing? Like Hallelujah type of thing?
Huh? I don't know, man. Like,
what kind of songs? Are you singing like?
I don't know. You'd play like a game or something in the morning, or like you'd go for a hike or something. I don't know, something like that.
Okay.
I don't know, like how we take a breath or something. Something like you just start the morning.
Some sort of warm up.
Yeah.
Whether it's like a singing, a little bit of movement. Yeah. Okay, I think that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
And then what happens after that?
You have main lesson.
So 8:15 to how long is your warm up?
Sometimes we wouldn't even do that. So sometimes it's like, I don't know, 20 minutes, if that. Sometimes it goes the whole thing. Who knows?
So let's say it's 20. So it's 20 minutes. So 8:15, 8:35, 8:40.
Yeah.
Your main lesson, and what's that? So a new teacher comes in?
No. You have your teacher.
There's just one teacher.
There's one teacher. So there's like, and they follow you from grade to grade. From 1st grade to 8th grade, they're with you.
You have the same teacher?
Yeah, I had the same teacher.
And this teacher taught you everything?
Yeah.
Kind of like how I teach you everything?
Well, not really. Like, we had like a math teacher who would come into the classroom or whatever, like that kind of stuff.
But this main teacher taught you like English, history, science, that sort of stuff?
She taught us like history, English, and like as you get into the higher grades, it got more people teaching you, but in the younger grades, it was mostly just that one teacher.
I mean, that kind of makes sense. If you have...
It's just more basic stuff.
In elementary school, your teacher teaches you everything.
Yeah.
So that's kind of similar.
Yeah. So
you had main lesson, and that was how long?
That goes until... Oh, here's a crazy thing. 10:15, I think. So it's like 2 hours.
Okay.
So they intend main lesson to be 8:15 to 10:15, I think. Part of your main lesson is like that thing.
That little warm up.
Yeah, or whatever. Sometimes that's what I'm saying. Sometimes you don't have it. And then also...
Okay, interesting.
In the main lesson, we'd like draw on books and freaking like...
Yeah, the book.
Yeah.
You've always told me about the
main lesson book.
So within main lesson, you're learning everything? It's like a little bit for English, a little bit for history?
So like we would do blocks. Like we did physics stuff and just history stuff, like Greek mythology, Roman mythology, that.
Now, is that main lesson block only on the one unit you're learning? So it's 2 hours of history, 2 hours of science?
Yeah, then we rotate stuff.
Like every, whatever, a few weeks?
Month or whatever, yeah, something like that.
Interesting. So after main lesson, it's like 10:30, let's say.
Yeah.
What happens
We have
then?
snack.
You have snack? Okay, interesting.
Yeah, and then you have a recess.
Wait, so you have snack time, then recess?
Yeah, I think you have 45 minutes in that time.
For snack and recess?
Yeah. So you have like a quick recess to like go outside or do something.
Okay, so 45 minutes, 10:15, we're like at 11 o'clock-ish?
Yeah, and then you have, I think started calling it periods. I know that's like a normal thing in schools.
Yeah, it is a normal thing.
And so like then you have first and second period, I think.
Which are what?
Anything. It could Spanish, German, English, history. Like as you get up into more grades, it's like more of that stuff. In the younger grades, it's also 1st grade has a half day. They only go to 12.
Oh my God. Okay.
So when you're in 1st grade, yeah, okay. So in 1st grade, you only go to 12. So then you have just like your, so you would leave when like the rest of the school goes to like lunch. So then you have like your main lesson, then your 1st and 2nd period, and then you're done.
And then you're done.
Yeah.
Okay, so normal, not 1st grade.
Okay, yeah.
You have your main lesson, snack, recess, and then 2 periods.
Yeah.
How long is each period? 45 minutes?
Something like that, yeah.
And the teacher comes into the room. So
yeah, with like a 5-minute break in between.
Everyone's taking the same classes.
Yeah. It's not like an optional thing.
So let's say you did Spanish, and then what would another period be? Like an art class or something?
What?
Or would the second class be like an art class or what?
Yeah, we had an art class. It'd be like maybe like a gym class or like games class, they called it.
You wouldn't take like 2 languages, right? Like Spanish and German, or no?
Yeah, you would. It wasn't like a choice. Like you did Spanish and German.
At the same time? You take 2 languages?
Yeah.
Huh.
What do you mean at the same time?
Like you wouldn't have period 1 be Spanish and period 2 be German, right?
Yeah.
Really?
Possibly sometimes.
They were blocks of time where they lined up?
Sometimes, yeah.
That's so weird. Okay, so period 2 ends, that's what? So it was 11, like what close to 1 o'clock?
Yeah, you're about like, I think it's like 12:45, something like that.
Okay.
12:30. And then you have lunch and recess.
Another recess?
Yeah.
What the hell?
You have 2 recesses.
Okay, so lunch and recess is for another 45 minutes.
Yeah, so if like the day is right, you have main lesson, recess, and like snack. Then you could have like a farming class, which you're outside all day. Then you have lunch and recess again, which you could be outside. And then you have like games class and just like an art class outside. So you could literally be outside the whole thing. I guess it's kind of a cool thing, but
strange compared to me.
Yeah.
Public school is like a factory.
You're literally in like a dungeon.
It's like you get there at 8:15. You go straight to your first class. This was high school at least.
Yeah.
Straight to your first class, lunch, class, gym, and then usually you go.
That snack and recess was always like normal to me, but now I realize it's crazy.
And you had that all the way up until like even the high
grade.
schoolers get snack and recess, or?
I think so. They get like a break at least.
Dude, 8th grade was like mini high school for us. We had a homeroom, which is why I asked. And you went to your homeroom, you dropped your coat off and like any textbooks. You sang the Pledge of Allegiance and did all that stuff, which was like 20 minutes.
We only sang the Pledge of Allegiance in 5th grade, which is when we did American history.
That's so bizarre. Okay, so hold on. I have so many more questions now. This is why I was like, I don't even need these notes. So...
and then you'd have 3 more other periods after lunch. 2 or 3. Depends.
2 or 3.
Yeah.
So you had a farming class.
Yeah.
Which consisted of what?
Child labor.
I feel like it borders child labor.
It honestly does.
Break it down.
I know the teacher now, but he's really chill. But
when you say child labor, like, what do you mean?
So like the school, it's a Waldorf school. It's on a farm. They have a farm.
Yeah.
They have a farm store. It's like a mini.
They sell products.
It's a compound, basically. No, it literally is. They have like a school. They have stores. They have like Turos.
And you
I don't know if you've ever seen that Turos. It's like these like Waldorf school toys and
No, I haven't.
Like pens and stuff that you'd use in school. That you can go there and like rulers and just that kind of stuff.
They make and sell those themselves.
They don't make it. It's just there. They sell it. It's like high quality stuff, and then there's like yarn and just all.
But you can
stuff.
buy Hawthorne Valley products like in the regular grocery
store.
Yeah.
So they have the grocery store, and so also Hawthorne Valley does this thing where they like let all other schools like come in and do like
see their farm and all that other stuff.
Yeah,
right?
Stay there for like a week. We actually did that in 3rd grade, but we just walked across the street. But yeah, other schools come for like a week and stay there, and so they have.
Wait! Stay there a week?
Yeah, they have like a house that you stay in, and they call it like the farm trip.
So other schools, as in like other public schools in the area, or any school.
I'm not sure if it's public or Waldorf. I'm not really sure the conditions for it. But yeah, they come there, they stay there, and then the kids just like wake up early. They basically live on a farm for like a week.
It's like what it's like to be a farmer.
Yeah, basically, yeah. It's to give them like a little bit of that. And so our farming class, it's pretty cool.
That's pretty cool.
We did that for a week in 3rd grade. So you get up, milk the cows and like all that stuff. Yeah.
Get the eggs from the chicken.
Everything. Yeah.
Wow. You don't slaughter animals, right? Like that. The kids.
They don't do that on the farm. No. So yeah, that farm class is just like a kind of a mini version for 2 hours of that.
All right, but when you say child labor, let's be very careful here. Like, were you working on the products that they sell?
No.
So any of your...
They weren't profiting off of it.
Okay, got it.
No, but it was like, we were just like... It was kind of cool, though, but like, we... Like, that part for like the school, they have like a certain like garden beds for that. Like, reserved, like they have their own garden for that.
Just for the farm class?
Yeah, for just like farm class and the schools that come and that kind of thing.
Oh, they were separate from what they end up selling to the farm.
Yeah. But just like they wouldn't let us eat the food if we were like doing it or whatever. We made brooms, which is pretty cool.
You made a broom?
Yeah.
Okay.
There's this corn that, yeah. It's pretty cool, actually.
All right. So, because I was under the impression, and I'm glad I've been mistaken.
No, but it felt like child labor.
I thought you were legitimately working on products that they were selling and then using your labor.
No.
Okay, thank God. So they kept it separate.
Yeah.
And you just learned basic like gardening, farmstead
Yeah,
stuff,
and we worked on like, we were growing just certain plants and stuff, and yeah.
So you learned, how to grow plants. Did you learn anything else, like canning fruits and vegetables or like nothing like that?
No, it was mostly just growing vegetables and just...
Okay, so that was farms class. You said games class too, which is interesting. What's that all about? I
guess it's like... They don't have like an auditorium.
Okay.
They actually just built something. Like, they have a basketball court, but they just built something over the basketball court. It was like an outdoor basketball court.
Okay.
But they have like they have a whole soccer field, like a full-size soccer field, essentially.
Sure.
Because they have a ton of land. So, yeah, it was just outside class.
Oh, games as in like quite literally like
yeah, you'd play soccer, kickball.
Okay, so like a normal gym class.
Yeah, it was like a gym class, yeah.
Okay, that's cool.
Yeah.
I thought
volleyball or something like that.
I just assumed you guys were doing weird stuff.
No.
There. All right, so
we weren't playing chess or whatever.
Okay, and then I want to get back to snack time. What was that about? Like, did you just sit?
Just taking a break and you would just eat something
that you brought?
Yeah.
Okay.
No. So like you could pay for like a lunch and snack thing.
Okay.
They did that. So yeah, they'd put out something just easy.
Did you go somewhere, like leave your classroom, or?
No, it was just like in the hallway. Like they'd set up a little thing in the hallway or whatever.
And you could go walk there during your snack time, get something to eat, and you could pay for it.
Well, no. It's already paid for. Like you're.
Oh, it's like a prepaid.
Yeah. So
or
like,
if you brought your own.
You pay by the month or whatever.
So weird. How long was that? Like 10, 15 minutes?
Like 30 minutes, 40 minutes.
What?
Well, because, you go outside and do your thing or something like that.
Oh, because snack time was also part of recess.
Yeah, it was a snack and recess.
And then you could just run around and do whatever you wanted?
Yeah, they had swings and, yeah.
Is it supervised? Like, are there teachers around?
Yeah, there's teachers out there.
Like, half paying attention or, like, legitimately there to pay attention?
Kind of paying, but I don't know, it's just kind of expected that kids will just, like, do it.
Interesting.
It's just, like, kind of, like, just normal now. It's just, like, the kids are just used to it. You know what I mean? Like, they almost don't need supervision.
Yeah. I know. I think that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
So, when, like, your main lesson's over,
yeah,
or between when teachers are coming in and out, and you guys are just sitting there, what are you doing?
What do you mean?
You said teachers would come to your class, right?
Yeah, we just wait for our class. We just do something.
The kids were, like, you guys were behaved?
No.
Okay.
You'd be crazy, and then the teacher would come in, and they'd take a little bit. Depends on the teacher.
Because, you know...
If we had respect for the teacher, no.
Mm-hmm.
But there was also no principal. I gotta say that, too.
There's no principal?
There's no principal.
So who organizes everything?
Teachers. So there's, like, the office.
Okay.
Which I guess she's, like, the administrator. Like, there's, like, an administrator.
There's gotta be one administrator.
There's, like, an administrator, but, like... There's nobody that, like, really has, like, principal, like... You know what I mean? Like, I don't quite get the point of a principal, honestly. Just because I've never been in a public
Well, I guess... I mean, public school has a lot of unnecessary administrators.
Yeah. The
principal just makes sure the school is flowing, right? So they deal with funds.
That's kind of what the teachers does. There's like an administrator who my teacher was actually, now she's like the school administrator. Mm-hmm. But there's just like, they kind of just expect the teachers to be like the principals of the class.
So what if a parent has a problem? Like all the times your dad had problems, who did he talk to?
My teacher.
He just went directly to the teacher?
Yeah, to the teachers.
He didn't call the principal up or nothing?
There's no principal.
So if you want to enroll in the school, who do you talk to?
The administrators and stuff like that, yeah.
So there is an administrator who deals with like, who does all the scheduling?
I have no clue.
Interesting. Yeah, so a principal is involved with like the scheduling.
And the parents and stuff like that.
Yeah, well.
That's the teacher. You go direct to the teacher there.
The principal doesn't normally deal with parents unless it's like a serious issue.
Exactly. The teacher would deal with
my mom would go straight to the teachers, but you know, what about all the money? So everyone has to pay to go to the school. Who do you pay?
Like the administrators and stuff.
Okay, so there's got to be at least one who deals with
Yeah. There's like people behind the scenes and stuff like that. There's not like a principal's office. It's not like you got called to the principal's office.
You don't have like Mr. Noah as the principal of Hawthorne
Yeah, there's no principal.
So you have a couple administrators who deal with like the specific stuff, and then everything else is just run by the teachers. Essentially, yeah. That's pretty interesting. Yeah. That's like a business that's owned by the employees. Kind of. Right? Yeah, it's kind of run by the teachers, yeah. It just somehow like kind of flows. Is it organized? Like, do you feel somehow it's freaking organized. Like, God knows how, but it just somehow is. Huh. Oh, wow. Okay. So you kind of talked about a bunch of stuff you liked about it, but what would you say, like 3 things you really liked about it? I think you've mentioned the farm stuff and like those sort of skills. I think just being outside more. I think that's really good. Like my comparison to yours, like you're in I sat under fluorescent lights for 8 hours a day. Exactly. Rotting my brain. Yeah, exactly. Okay, so you get to go outside and actually like move your bodies and be in the sun. Yeah, and I feel like just like I don't think I talked about this. The classes are like 15.
to like 30 people at max.
So you have just one
grade. That's just a grade. That's just a grade.
Yeah.
So in my class, I think we had was like 29 maybe. Mm-hmm. That sounds like a lot, but
we had in my school, like my high school, for example, we had 9 classes in each grade. Yeah. So we had 9 ninth grade classes.
I remember a couple of years ago, like the 9th grade class was like 5 people.
That's it?
Yeah.
Because there's just low enrollment?
Yeah.
Is that what it was?
Yeah.
That's so strange.
And then like we just it was just like it would go up and down.
Like for middle school, I mean we had like 821 all the way to 829, right? So 821, 822, 823, and there's like 30 kids in each one of those.
Yeah.
We had 801, 802, 803. We probably had like 10 to 15 classes in each grade.
Yeah. So like in the whole school it was like 250 people.
Wow. I mean,
that's high school included and kindergarten and around.
You could have 250 people in just one grade level.
I know, exactly. School. Yeah.
That's insane. I could never imagine. Even in college, I didn't have a 5-person class. I think
but like they mixed in with like the older high school grades. Like high school is like, it's more of like I feel normal high school somewhat.
Like where
you could choose more classes and stuff like that.
Like if you were behind in a math, you could take a math with like younger kids or whatever.
Something like that.
So the first thing you liked is being outside. What was the second thing? So, you said small class sizes, right?
Yeah. I think, it was just easier to, like, connect with people because you're, like, around them, like...
Sure.
You know, in your grade, if you have, like, 600 people...
Yeah.
It's hard to, like...
I mean, you could put 100 kids who my graduating class in front of me. I have no idea who they are.
Exactly.
I've never seen them before in my life.
Exactly. Like, I knew every person, like...
Yeah.
To the dot.
I think... I love that. I think that's really cool.
Yeah. I think that is cool.
All right, so give me one more. If there's anything. Something. If not...
Not off the top of the dome.
All right, so then what didn't you like about it? Because it doesn't actually sound like it's that bad, based on how you're describing it.
Honestly, it just didn't work for me.
Okay.
I think that's, like, it is kind of like a cult.
Oh, boy.
Like...
Unpack that. So why isn't it good for you, and why do you think it's a cult?
They just couldn't teach me.
So you think your specific educational needs just didn't fit their program?
I think people that go there like do pretty well in life actually, because like they're almost like prepared for life. So I know in that sense it is like good. It just that's not how I work.
So you think it can be very successful for
I think
some
it
people?
Can, yeah.
Okay.
I do think it can.
But just for your needs.
For my needs.
Now, I guess the question would be, why did your parents send you there for as many years as they did if it wasn't working?
I just had friends there.
So you just didn't want to leave your friends?
Yeah, it was I was already there, and just no friends would have been down there.
Yeah. It would have been worse for you.
Exactly.
So...
Till we found Jason.
Shout
out Jason. JasonCantor.com. Is that the right thing? I have no clue.
No, it's not. I don't even have a website at the moment.
Cool. I just shouted out some random website.
I wonder if there's a JasonCantor.com. Hopefully it's not something disgusting. Who knows, man? I don't know. Could be something crazy for all we know.
How to nuke the whole world.
So the main thing would be that you didn't like is that it just didn't work for you.
Yeah.
Why didn't it work for you?
In their curriculum, dyslexia is not existent.
Okay, so that's the big one. Because you have dyslexia, you feel like they're just unequipped to help you?
Yeah, they just basically say you'll eventually learn how to read.
So do you think? Okay, so that was their answer, right? Your dad was like, "Hey, he has dyslexia. He's struggling. How are you going to help them?" And their logic was,
well, so he saw it in kindergarten. In 3rd grade, he's like, okay, like he has dyslexia, like whatever. He's reading into it, and they said in kindergarten. They said, we'll, like, start working on it in 3rd grade. Like, come 3rd grade, nothing's happening.
Oh, so in kindergarten, when your dad noticed you had some sort of...
They said, like, don't worry about it. We start reading. Like, literally, I know you, like, would you learn kindergarten to read? Like, started. When did you start?
I mean, my mom started when I was, like, 2 or 3, showing me, like, letters and sounds. I feel like most...
I was way behind. But, yeah, like, they really start intensively teaching you how to read in 3rd grade.
So your dad is in kindergarten. Your dad goes to them and says, "Hey, there's something wrong," and they're like, "Don't worry about it."
We start in third grade. He'll be fine.
That's really late.
Basically, it is.
They say by like second grade in public schools, if you can't read,
you are kind of like starting to read some and whatever, but it's not like.
That's insane to me.
Yeah.
But then look, so many kids who graduate Waldorf schools do really well. So clearly something they're doing is working.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I do think it works for people, but.
Okay, so come third grade, they didn't help you?
No.
And then
they never helped me.
What does your dad say? So he realizes that he trusts them because they're the professionals.
I mean, he had nothing really to do, you know. He couldn't do much.
So, but he goes to them in third grade and he's like, "Hey, you guys promised me that you're gonna help him read. It's third grade. He's still not reading."
He tells the story like 12 different ways.
Well, from your perspective, what do you remember?
I don't really remember anything. Honestly, I blocked it out.
You blacked it out. Okay. So as the grades go on, from what you remember, do you remember feeling like you were not as good as the other kids?
Yeah. Because they could all read and I couldn't.
So like you'd be in main lesson and you'd be reading out loud and your teacher would call on you.
They kind of like learn to not like do that, but it's also like.
Would any of the kids be like, "Yo, why don't you call on Noah"?
No,
you never call on him.
No.
Wow, they're respectful.
I don't know.
In public school,
I don't really remember.
In public school, if there was a kid who didn't get called on, you threw him under the bus so fast. There was no respect for other students. Okay, so, the big question would be, when you say dyslexia doesn't exist in their curriculum, what do you mean by that?
It's just not built in to teach it.
So they didn't build their curriculum with dyslexia.
No, it was built in like the 1800s.
Uh-huh. So do you think they should just not accept dyslexic students then and just be honest and say, "Hey,
they should either do that or learn how to teach them,
or amend their curriculum"?
Yeah, because they say they can. They never I don't know if they say they can. They just never denied that they can't.
So to cover their ass, they've never said, "Hey, we can do it," but they've never been like, "We can't do it either."
Yeah.
They kind of leave it in a limbo area.
Yeah.
And I do remember your dad telling me that.
Yeah. There's a gray, blurry area.
A very big gray area. Got it. Okay. Now you said it's a cult. That's another hefty statement. What do you mean? Unpack that. Right, because a cult would be there's one leader, usually a dude, and there's some sort of religion.
Rudolf Steiner. It is almost religious. It's like they all follow this.
This what?
This just like curriculum, and I feel like their whole like life is based on it. Essentially.
So you think they live and die by this curriculum?
Essentially,
that Rudolf Steiner wrote.
Honestly, yeah.
Have they changed any of it? Or you wouldn't know that?
They kind of manipulate.
Uh-huh.
I'm gonna sound stupid again. Don't clip that one. To kind of what they want. Because like there was like we were playing soccer, and then like they're like, "Oh, the kids can't like play soccer until like a certain grade." That was always their whole thing. Like you can't do this until a certain grade.
Until a certain
grade. Do you know what Foursquare is?
Mm-hmm.
You couldn't.
Love Foursquare.
Once you went on that like farm trip I was talking about, you could play Foursquare. So it was like.
Why? What's their reasoning?
God knows. God only knows, man. And so yeah, so like mid-third grade when you went on the farm trip, you could now play Foursquare.
And if you ask them, like, why does the farm trip give you Foursquare privileges?
Just because.
Just because that's their curriculum?
It's just what they do.
So if I went to a Waldorf school in California versus the one you went to, completely different, would it be?
I have no clue.
Is there like cohesion amongst them?
I think they follow. Because like we did like medieval games or something like that, where like a bunch of Waldorf schools would meet and like they'd be practicing for like javelin and stuff like that. It was pretty cool actually.
Mm-hmm. That sounds pretty sick.
But I always noticed that other schools were a little bit less, almost modernized. I feel like I was stuck in like a almost old time. You know what I mean? So I do think
this clinging is.
I do think they manipulate it a little bit.
So okay.
My dad called them out on that though.
If I went to a different Hawthorne Valley school, would it be the same structure?
Hawthorne Valley School or Waldorf School?
Waldorf School, where it'd be like, you come in.
They do have like the main lesson and that kind of thing. That is like a common.
So do you think if I wanted to start a Waldorf school, I'd have to follow the curriculum, but I can manipulate it however I please?
Not technically, but kind of, I think.
So what do you think Hawthorne Valley did differently than other Waldorf schools?
They just designed it how they wanted it.
Which was what? What's their mission statement?
I just think, I don't know. They kind of just control like little random things. They're really into that, like, when you turn a certain age, you can do this one thing. Or,
do you think that's a Waldorf school thing?
Not
or
really.
A Hawthorne
because, like,
Valley
my dad, they wouldn't let us play soccer in 2nd grade, and they were like, oh, it's not part of, like, you got to protect the head, because, like, heading the ball or whatever. And you know, the brain's still developing, whatever. And, like, my dad, like, looked into, like, the Rudolph Steiner thing, and, like, it didn't say that anywhere. And so
I remember this story.
They said that in, like, the Rudolph Steiner thing, and it didn't. So, like, they manipulated it to say, like...
So when your dad comes to them and you're like, hey, I read through Rudolf Steiner's philosophy.
And they're like, okay, yeah, kind of. They're like, yeah.
Okay.
They couldn't keep online. Because they said they followed it, and then he showed it to them, and they're like, oh boy.
So there are certain aspects where they interpret the rules however they please, is what you're saying.
If nobody calls them out on it, yeah.
Sure. Interesting. Very interesting. So go back to it being a cult. So you said you're relating the way they follow their curriculum to like a religion, where it's like they live and
everybody
die by
around there is just like, you kind of just have to see it when I say Waldorf. They all like kind of natural and like this like, it's not like in a bad way, no diss to them. It's just, they just live their lifestyle very different than just like the average.
So when you
to say American,
I just really want to clear that up. You just mean they follow a specific lifestyle and way of life, just like you would follow a religion.
Yeah. You're
not saying Hawthorne Valley is a religion.
No, but they follow it almost like a religion.
As in, like
they follow the Waldorf curriculum and just
very
like everybody
strictly.
Very strictly. Yeah, it's not a religion, but they almost follow it like a religion.
So because you always joke with me, you're like, I could tell that's a Waldorf kid.
Yeah,
like
they just have this look to them and like.
How? Like, what does that look like? How you just have to be in the know?
I don't know. Like, it's just like the natural kind of clothes, that kind of thing, and just like, just that whole thing. I don't really know.
So they have like a holistic, what they call like a holistic way.
Yeah,
of life.
holistic.
Like very like natural food, natural clothing, very simple. Like the school looks very simple when you drive by. Like
it has like.
Are there computers in the school, or they're still like stuck in the Stone Ages?
Hold on, pick up that computer right behind you.
Like something like this.
Why is that actually plugged in?
Yeah.
Unplug that, dude. That thing's gonna explode.
So it's like one of these really old.
Yeah, it was that thick. Yeah. I mean, like the people that like needed like a computer, like the administrators, like had like a desktop or whatever. But like.
So like in a public school, right? If you go.
Like I saw my teacher with a phone once, and I was like, whoa.
Wow. Like if you go to a public school, for the most part.
Everybody has a phone.
Like every room has a smart board.
Yeah.
And like you'll teach.
They had a chalkboard.
So they kept chalkboards.
It was chalkboard. So it was like the coolest thing. Your New Year started, your chalkboard was repainted.
Oh really? That's nice.
They repainted that. It was pretty cool.
But you wouldn't find a smart board in a Hawthorne Valley classroom.
No. The high school had like what's the marker? Like a whiteboard.
Okay.
And a projector.
Oh, had a projector?
They added that. I was like, what the hell?
But like, does the high school kids have like a robotics class or a STEM class or like a computer science class, anything like that?
Not really anything like that. I was allowed to use my computer just because it was easier than writing.
And you would also do like Lindenwood Bell in the library. Well, your dad already ruined it in the other video. Okay. Do you think they've gotten more modern, or you have no idea?
I think slowly it's just taking time. Just like a lot of stuff does.
Interesting. Wow.
It's like global warming. It's taking time. Take us out already.
So it's not in like a cult in the traditional sense, but
no, the people around there just follow it almost like a religion.
And it feels kind of
religious, yeah.
And they're what they call like dogmatic, like they follow these rules very strictly.
Yeah, kind of, yeah.
Like you couldn't bring a McDonald's bag for lunch, right?
You could.
Would they look at you funny? Okay, so
it's not like that. It's just the people around there are very centered around.
Do they have like a shrine of Rudolf Steiner?
No, it's not like a real cult. It has cult-like characteristics.
Mm-hmm.
That's my final.
Cult-like characteristics. Gotcha. Any other? I mean, they had a basketball team, right? I remember you played basketball in your youth.
The 1 year I played basketball was like the first year that team did good. Not because of me, but
maybe partly.
No. Yeah.
Would you recommend Hawthorne Valley School to anyone?
Depends on the person. If you have learning handicaps, I'll say. If you're stupid.
No.
If you have learning handicaps, no. Mm-hmm. But if you want like an alternative, if you start there, you got to start there. You can't. It doesn't really work.
It's been hard to, even for me. Like you are so used to some of these old ways.
It's hard to go from public school to there. So I think if you're doing it, you got to start like.
You think it'd be easier to go from public school to Hawthorne Valley or Hawthorne Valley to public school?
Suck both ways. Mm-hmm. I think if you go to the Hawthorne Valley, you just got to stick with it.
Did you have tests or grades? Like, did you get a report card every year or semester?
I think like. Wait, what define a report card?
A report card would be how you did for the term. So it's a culmination of all your tests, your essays, your.
We didn't really have tests, but like we'd have like I guess kind of like a report card.
So like, how were you graded based on your progress? Just what the teacher thought.
Yeah, how you did, like if you're bad in the class or something like that. I don't know, something
I know you had homework, so you got practice problems.
Yeah, stuff like that. But we didn't really have like.
Did you have math tests or spelling tests, or did you write? I mean, you didn't write
sometimes.
Essays, right?
Yeah, we did write essays. We had a little bit of that math and science and English test stuff, but not a lot. We're not really focusing on that stuff.
So the teacher, because it's such small classes, and you work with them year after year after year, really knows each kid. Yeah,
you almost develop a relationship with the teacher.
I actually really like that.
No, it is actually awesome. Cool. Yeah, you know the teacher.
So you were the same teacher from kindergarten or Peach Blossom to when you stopped?
Peach Blossom, from 1st grade to 8th grade. You had the same teacher, unless they just left or decided to go to restart or whatever. But yeah, the idea was that your teacher stayed with you for 8 years.
Wow, that's awesome. I actually think that's pretty cool. Wow. Any other thoughts, man?
No. I want to go build that bike.
I know you want to go build that bike. I'm sure that's all you've been thinking about.
Actually, I haven't thought about that.
Nice.
I was focused on you.
So you'd recommend Hawthorne Valley School only if like your kid hasn't went to any other school before, or if
if you want an alternative lifestyle.
Yeah, if you're looking for like a holistic type of thing.
You got to go full into it. You can't just go half into it. If you're doing, you got to do it. That's what I'll say.
Okay. Any other thoughts? All right, I think that's podcast adjourned. See us in the next one.